the unexamined life is not worth living. How often do we go through life on autopilot, never stopping to question our actions, our beliefs, or the path we're on? Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, challenges us to dig deeper. He believed that a life without reflection, without questioning, is a life wasted. To Socrates, the true value of life lies in the pursuit of knowledge, in understanding oneself, and in striving for truth. It's not enough to merely exist. We must live with purpose, with intention, and with a constant desire to learn and grow. Consider your daily life. How often do you take the time to reflect on your choices, your beliefs, and your direction? Do you ask yourself why you do the things you do? Or do you simply follow the crowd, doing what's expected without question? Socrates urges us to break free from this pattern, to live a life of inquiry, of constant questioning. This doesn't mean doubting everything, but rather seeking a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The unexamined life is a life lived on the surface, without depth, without true meaning. But when we take the time to reflect, to examine our lives, we find that there is so much more to discover. We begin to see the patterns in our behavior, the reasons behind our choices, and the beliefs that drive us. This examination leads to self-awareness, to personal growth, and ultimately to a more fulfilling life. Socrates teaches us that it is through this process of examination that we truly live. I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. One of the most profound insights from Socrates is his acknowledgement of his own ignorance. In a world where everyone seems to claim to have the answers, Socrates stands out by admitting that true wisdom comes from recognizing the limits of our knowledge. He understood that the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. This is not a sign of weakness, but of true intelligence. To Socrates, the beginning of wisdom is the acknowledgement of one's own ignorance. It's the understanding that no matter how much we know, there is always more to learn. This humility is the foundation of true knowledge. It's what drives us to keep seeking, to keep questioning, and to keep learning. When we think we know it all, we close ourselves off to new ideas, to new perspectives, and to growth. But when we acknowledge our ignorance, we open ourselves up to the endless possibilities of learning and discovery. This lesson is especially important in today's world, where information is everywhere, but true understanding is rare. Socrates reminds us that intelligence is not about having all the answers, but about having the curiosity and humility to keep asking questions. It's about recognizing that there is always more to learn, and that true wisdom lies in the pursuit of knowledge, not in the possession of it. To find yourself, think for yourself. In a world full of influences, from societal expectations to media messages, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. Socrates challenges us to reclaim our individuality by thinking for ourselves. He believed that true self-discovery comes not from following the crowd, but from questioning, reflecting, and forming our own opinions. It's about finding our own path, not the one laid out by others. Think about the decisions you've made in your life. How many of them were truly your own? And how many were influenced by others? How often do you take the time to think critically, to challenge the status quo, and to form your own beliefs? Socrates urges us to take back control of our minds, to think for ourselves, and to find our own truth. To think for yourself is to take ownership of your life. It's about being true to who you are, rather than conforming to what others expect. This doesn't mean rejecting all advice or influence, but rather filtering it through your own lens, questioning it, and ultimately making your own decisions. When you think for yourself, you gain a sense of freedom, of empowerment, and of self-discovery. You begin to understand who you truly are and what you truly want, and you live a life that is authentic and true to yourself. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This may seem like a paradox, but Socrates believed that the acknowledgement of one's own ignorance is the foundation of true wisdom. In a world where many claim to have all the answers, Socrates stood apart by recognizing the limits of his knowledge. This humility is what made him truly wise. He understood that wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about knowing how much you don't know and being open to learning more. In today's world, this lesson is more relevant than ever. We are surrounded by information, yet true understanding is often elusive. Socrates reminds us that it's not enough to gather knowledge. We must also recognize its limits. True wisdom comes from the willingness to keep learning, to keep questioning, and to keep growing. It's about having the humility to admit that we don't know everything, and the curiosity to keep seeking the truth. Be as you wish to seem. Socrates believed that authenticity is one of the highest virtues. It's not enough to appear good, wise, or virtuous. You must actually be these things. To Socrates, the gap between appearance and reality is where much of life's dishonesty and unhappiness lie. He challenges us to close this gap, to ensure that who we are on the inside matches who we appear to be on the outside. This is a call to live with integrity, to align your actions with your values, and to be true to yourself. It's easy to put on a facade, to present yourself in a certain way to gain approval or avoid criticism. But Socrates teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment come from living a life of authenticity. When your actions reflect your true self, when you are as you wish to seem, you live with a sense of peace and contentment that can't be achieved through appearances alone. Living authentically requires courage. It means being willing to stand out, to be different, and to face criticism. But it's also the path to true self-respect and fulfillment. When you live authentically, you not only gain the respect of others, but you also gain the most important respect of all, your own.